You say hi? You say hi? You say hi? Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Buffy. Yes, that's my real name, and if you've been here before, you've probably noticed my makeup tutorials, which is what I've been doing to kind of get used to the platform. Today is a little different. I've been doing these videos sort of as a warm-up, and now that I'm warmed up, I feel like a video about who I am and what I'm doing is pretty appropriate. So joining us today is my squirmy little child. What are you doing? You messing up Mama's makeup? This is Thule, and she cannot leave her brother alone. So she is in doggy time out a bit with me. But we don't mind, do we, baby? Don't eat my scarf. I leave lipstick kisses on you. I'll do it. I'll do it. Love you. Okay, lay down, baby girl. So let's start with what it is that I do. I am first and foremost a businesswoman. I run a nonprofit aimed at saving senior and special needs dogs. On first glance, my home sort of seems a little chaotic. Right now we have 8 dogs living with us, although one of them is just a house guest. He belongs to a friend. So he will be leaving soon, and then 2 of them are fosters. We are pretty well known within the foster circuit here in Chicago. We do a lot of hospice care, which is hospice fostering, dogs who are terminal, that sort of thing. And so my house is usually full of dogs, which I love. And it has been something I really feel like I should have figured out sooner. Everybody sort of asks themselves, you know, what am I doing with my life or whatever, and the obvious answer for me has always been animals, always. I definitely don't have what it takes to be a veterinarian. I know that. I'm not medically inclined, for one. I don't have the stamina emotionally, so helping dogs in this route is a lot more of a comfortable fit for me. And a lot of people ask me, you know, how can you do that if you can't be a veterinarian? How do you, you know, adopt dogs only to know that they're going to die on you? And the answer is that it's the better alternative. These dogs who have cancer, who have organ failure, who have, you know, whatever, they would otherwise sit in a shelter waiting for a foster home. And because not everybody's work schedule is conducive to this kind of work, even if they have the heart for it, if they're gone 8-10 hours a day, they have to say no to those sorts of cases. And so you kind of have to have an aligning of the stars really to get it right. You have to have somebody who has a work life that is conducive to it, who has a heart for it, who recognizes the power that foster homes have in the spectrum of saving animals. And stop, tiny dog. And then you have to have somebody who says yes. Not somebody who says, oh, I want to, or I keep meaning to, but somebody who takes the time to fill out the application and to drive to meet the dog or to pick the dog up, or just somebody who says yes, somebody who is going to show up for these dogs. And that's very much what my life is about, very much. And it's incredibly fulfilling. Even if they are with us for only a short time, I'm very content knowing that they've passed, knowing what my family can give them, knowing the love, knowing that they have somebody who's willing to sit with them for hours in the evening, or if they're sick in the middle of the night, somebody who is going to lay there with them, somebody who is going to feed them the best food they can lay hands on, somebody who is going to make sure that they have a blanket that only smells like them, that they don't have to share if they don't want to. That sort of thing. That is what I'm made for. That is what I'm doing, and no, it's not profitable. I mean, it's right there in the title, non-profit. But I am very, very fortunate in that my husband holds a job that affords me benefits so that we can do this sort of work. Trust me, my husband is just as invested as I am in this venture. It's just that he does work the 9 to 5. to allow us to do this. So I am grateful in so many ways to people who connect me with dogs, to people who believe in and support, you know, verbally or in other ways, support me in the work that I do. And I'm so grateful that my husband is of the same mind, that he recognizes that, you know, this is just as important. Even if I could work a 9-to-5, which we're about to get to, that this is life work. That's probably him on the phone, actually. Yay, he picked up my Uniqlo order. What are you doing? Who's so cute? Who's so cute? Who's so cute? You are. You are. Next, I am a chronic illness patient. A lot of people look at me and they say, oh, you're too young to be sick, or you don't look sick. That's my favorite. Like, do you know how many layers of makeup I'm wearing right now? I mean, actually you probably do, because I keep doing these videos. If you are in the same boat, or if you're not in the same boat, you do need to know one thing, that people who say those sorts of things are ignorant, whether they mean well or not, and it is not my job to educate you on why. But most of the time I am happy to, like this video. So I have a few things that I would like to discuss. POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, is the first. It is under the umbrella term of dysautonomia. You likely know of the term epilepsy, which also falls under the dysautonomia umbrella. This is far less well known, even though it's more common. POTS deregulates a lot of things that my body should be doing. We'll put it this way. Your nervous system is divided into two parts. One part that controls things you have to think about, like speech and movement, that sort of business, and one part that controls things you don't have to think about, like respiration and your heartbeat and your blood pressure. And the second part is what's broken. My body should be running all of these things in the background, and it's not. I have incredibly low blood pressure, especially when I stand up, because neurologically my body doesn't tell my blood vessels to constrict when I stand, and so blood pools. And as the blood flow back to my heart and my brain gets less and less, because gravity is pooling it in my legs and my feet, my heart speeds up because it's not getting the oxygen that it needs. And it speeds up and it speeds up, and then my whole body freaks out and the lights fade to black. I black out all the time because of this. And it's a defense mechanism. It's your body getting itself horizontal so that it returns blood flow back to the heart and the brain. It's incredibly smart and it's incredibly natural, but it's incredibly problematic when you're trying to live your life safely, I might add. Chili has her head in the toolbox. You are not that handy, child. Come here. You being so sweet? Are you being so sweet? I'm gonna leave lipstick kisses on you, don't. Oh, I did a little. So it's kind of an unpredictable wrench to throw into things, and because people haven't heard of it, they think you're making it up, or they think it can't be as serious as it sounds like. I mean, you guys do your research. Don't feel like I have to tell you everything. Don't feel like you have to take my word for it, even though I'm living it firsthand. Dinette has some great resources on POTS if you want to look at the big picture of it. I believe that's dinette.org. If not, I will definitely link it below if you guys want to check that out. I also have some autoimmune issues. It is suspected Ehlers-Danlos. I am working with my my rheumatologist right now to sort of suss that all out. I have really awful elevated ANA levels, and we're just trying to settle on a diagnosis, which is kind of a no man's land, because you can't say, oh, I have this, and find that commiseration with other people, or you can't find a definitive, course of action. When you don't have a diagnosis, you have no power. And it took me 3 years to be diagnosed with POTS, which was my first, even though I had been sick those entire 3 years. And I went to doctors over and over and over again saying, oh, you know, this has never happened to me before, I'm having these symptoms, and they seem insignificant or small until you couple them all together and realize how hard it is to mitigate them all at once and live a productive and happy life. That's kind of where I am. I spend a lot of time, a lot of money managing my body. I do take a lot of drugs because, like I said, my body doesn't manage some systems for itself, you know, like blood pressure and that sort of thing. So I take meds to regulate all of that. It's not ideal, but I'm better than where I was, and that's all I can ask for, that I move forward and not backward. For those of you who do not have the guarantee of health, who cannot wake up in the morning and expect to feel a certain way, that's really all we want. And I can speak for me and mine. We are not asking for miracles. We're just asking for some semblance of normalcy, for some semblance of predictability so that we can make plans and know our limits. But the reality is that it changes a lot, and I spend a lot of my time, you know, keeping up with my specialists or, you know, researching what's new out there or who's doing what research and where can I donate, and are there, you know, people who have just been diagnosed? Do they need somebody to hold their hand through all of this? I do some of that as well. As you can imagine, it's emotionally a big drain as well. My husband is the most supportive person in the world. He has never once blamed me. He has never once been disappointed by the limitations that these conditions impose on me, impose on us. Because when I can't do something, we can't do something together. It has limited our date nights is the first thing that comes to mind. And he's never minded, not in the least. He does a lot of emotional work with me. I cannot tell you the number of times we have been in the ER until 2 or 3 in the morning, and he's, you know, sat right there with me, asleep in the hospital bed, waiting for the doctor or the discharge papers or whatever, and we don't get home until the wee hours, and he has to be at work at 8 in the morning, and he doesn't complain. He says nothing. He never blames me for it. And that is probably the best gift I've ever been given. Not only does he carry me through that, he turns around and still says, yes, I believe you can run this nonprofit. Yes, I am 100% here to help you, even though I am already helping you with your health and your limitations and accepting all of that. I am also here to help you do the hard work that it is to run this business. He's the best. Lastly, but not leastly, I am an artisan. I grew up as a maker. I have degrees in makership. I am made whole by art. And mostly that art comes in the form of seamstressing. Some of you guys might know that I have a background in cosplay. I have done work for Disney. I've kind of been all over the place with my art, and my happy place is always going to be right in front of my sewing machine. I also knit, I also paint, but those are kind of just dabbles. I am pretty great at the knitting. I'm a test knitter for a few companies, but what really truly like makes me happiest is just spending all day in front of my sewing machine. Unfortunately, that sort of work really takes a toll on my body, so I do pay for it, but it is irreplaceable. You know, I've made costumes, I've made, you know, couture, I've made wedding dresses for very close friends, and there's nothing quite like that vote of confidence that someone not only believes that you are going to hit their deadlines, that you are going to charge them a fair price, that you are going to get it technically correct, that they would choose your artistry over, you know, like Vera Wang or Christian Siriano or anybody like that to wear on what a lot of women consider the most important day of their lives. That they want to wear your artistry on their bodies all day. That they want to look back in 50 years at pictures of your artistry on their body. It is such a powerful thing. And considering my travel limitations, it has allowed me to be there in spirit at a lot of places that I have unfortunately not been able to go to. And they know, of course, that every stitch is literally made with love. There is no place I would rather be when I'm working on something like that. I live for beautiful materials and for perfect seams and just the right amount of detail and handwork. And you guys, I could go on. They know I love it, and I love their trust that I love it. So I should end this video, but I feel better thinking that you guys might know a little bit about who I am and why my life So I feel a little better having made this video so that you guys don't think my life is just, you know, makeup tutorials and twee little, you know, touches that you see on Instagram or that sort of thing. And I hope it opens up a dialogue with some of you. I love to talk to people who have open minds and who are genuinely curious and who just want to understand something that they might not have previously understood, or somebody who wants to geek out about something. I mean, seamstresses, we nerd out hard about some things. You want to talk French seams? I am there. So if that's the case, you guys leave me a comment down below. You can also reach me at Instagram as DOGHAIRBLOG. That's my favorite platform. I am also on Facebook, which I will also link below, but Instagram is where you're gonna get all the bonuses, like pictures of my dogs or, you know, what I'm working on at the moment or stuff like that. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for finishing this video, for getting this far if you're hearing this, and in the meantime, I hope you guys do something you love today, because that's what I'm going to do. I hope you guys have a good one. Bye!